Hey everybody, welcome back to my garage, and I'm Steve. Hey, we're on episode 3 of the roof chop here, and I did this one just before Thanksgiving, and today is Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and had a great weekend. Had 23 of my family in the house for Thanksgiving dinner, and we had a ball. Some people, a couple of my nieces I haven't seen in about 8 years, so it was nice. Very nice. We had a good time. Hope you all had a great time too and ate lots of bird. So, yes, the roof chop. I spent whatever free time I had over the weekend staring at this thing, and we have a bunch of problems. I told you that this is my first roof chop, so go easy on me. We did get a ton. I mean, like 40 comments from people, and all positive. You know, they were all really good. A lot of people gave me some helpful advice, and I loved all of it. I tried to respond to every single person. If I didn't respond to you with at least a like, I read it. You know, I read everything, and it was all awesome. So thank you very much, guys. So let's talk about the car. Had a few issues. We talked about how these doors were out, and I did get these doors back in with, you know, on the video I had taken a clamp and clamped it on here, and I knew obviously I couldn't use the clamp, and I had planned on welding a chain link on each side, and so I put a ratchet strap in and pull it, but there actually was a spot where I could grab it with the ratchet strap, and I pulled from down here, as I didn't want to be pulling up here on the roof line, and you know, warp this any more than I probably already have. So I've got it pulled in. These doors are in nice and flush where they should be. The doors will be a whole nother issue down the road. But let's go around and we'll talk about, I have this rear window. I like the size of it the way it is. One guy said maybe you take another inch out of here, but the further I go out of here, the lower I get with, you know, I get more problems. So I'm going to take, at first I kept looking at this, I said, maybe I can just take and cut this out and then, you know, pie shape in here and take care of it that way. But I've got height issues here, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just take and zing this out because there's a hole here. This, we showed on the last video, this had the vinyl top on there and chicken wire and some batting, you know, that cotton batting. And you've probably seen that. If you haven't, the last video I showed. So I said, well, I can cut this, boom, we'll put a panel in here, tie this back together. But I still, you know, I always keep coming back to, this is the line, man. This is, you know, this is the line you gotta have to keep in with this flow and this Art Deco style, and that's the art of this whole thing, and that's, I can't lose that. So I keep looking and looking, and I'm saying, I gotta chop the front, you know, take the front end down. And I'm like, holy shit, what a bunch of work. I gotta cut here, and when I drag this roof and put it back down, you can't screw around with these angles, so if you're taking an inch out of here, you're bringing this roof line forward, so now this won't line up, so we've got to section it again here. And, you know, I kept saying to myself, how can I get out of that? Well, the bottom line is you can't. If you're going to do it right and make it all flow and keep these nice lines, you've got to just bite the bullet. And guess what? That's what we're going to do. So let me get the camera down. We'll show you some problems. What I'm going to try to do in today's hour, get this windshield out. We'll tape this off and cut these and try to get this roof positioned. I'll show you what the old one looks like. And so far, so good. I think we're looking pretty darn good. So thanks again, everybody, for coming back and all your great comments and really having a ball with it. So here is the rear. So for just, you know, before I weld, these have to be, you know, cut and really clean to get tight. But for now, for first shot, this is just the way I left it. As you can see that, if I line that up there nice, then these body lines are like perfect, see? So from there, right, lined up, and then these body lines are absolutely perfect. So we got flow here, and we're coming around the back, coming up here, and again, if I tried to noodle with this and cut and cut and cut and maybe bring this up, I just lose that. This is where the look come from on these 35s. So we're going to follow that drip rail down. We'll get this. We're bringing this down here. So we're going to cut here. We're going to cut across here, and as you see, how this it'd be kind of hard to see that, but it's wider here, narrow, wider down here. So we want to be right where it's almost exactly the same width going across. So when we put this back together, we're same line here, same line here. Then we'll have to deal with the door trim afterwards, and all that sort of thing. So a lot to it. So the window has to come out. So I went under here, and I said, well, I will take these two bolts out, and that will slide right out. Well, it does not come out of that hole without taking the dash off. And of course, you can see I put spray on these bolts. Everything's rusted in, and I don't want to ruin the channel on the, take and strip that. So I've got them soaking, and we've got to take this thing out. So I'm hoping and praying. Oh, by the way, before we move on to that, so when we cut this thing down here, see our roof height here? It's going to give us another inch here and help us out, and get this line down where we're supposed to be. And I've got a nice fancy jack in there. Over this side, same setup. I got some metal catching me, holding me up here, so I'm high here. And but when you bring, if I bring this down, this line here will be that inch we're looking for here. So this may, once I get this where it's supposed to be, I may still have to mess around with a drip line, but it's only going to be a small area, and we can reform that and continue with that line. And over here we got everything messed up. Our doors, see how nice the doors fit? Sun is high now, so the light's kind of weird for you, but that's it. So I've got to horse this window out of here, and I'm hoping that what I've got going here is I took the screws out of the hinges here. I don't think you can see that. Okay, now you can see it. I took the hinges out of the screws here, but this hinge won't go out through that hole because this moving bracket is holding it up. So I'm going to notch this right here with a grinder. I'm going to bend that down a little bit on each side so I can get the window out, flop it over, and there's two rusted screws right there. Again, it's hard with the light to see, but you see that screw right there? They're rusty. If I can get those out, then I'm good. If not, I'm going to cut this thing here and here, and I will re-weld that and put it back together after. But I'm kind of in a conundrum, to say the least, of rust. So when it comes to rust, hey, you got to do what you got to do, work around it, cut through it, fix it all afterwards. So I'm going to try to get this camera. I've got my new fancy tripod, which bends and all that, so we can get you into the action here. Okay. Got my microphone clipped onto my shirt. Hopefully it won't fall off, and we'll go from there. Now I got to find my grinder. Next problem. Where's all the stuff? I literally had to pause the camera and look for the grinder. You know where it was? Last place I left it. Yep, it was 15 degrees this morning. Old New England. Cold, cold, cold. Get some pliers. One side. So when you're doing, the rust, we talked about the rust held me back. So by doing this here, it's inside. I can push this back up, weld it in place. No one's going to see it. It's undercover. There's going to be headliner and all kinds of stuff in there. So for me, anyway, I believe that's the way to go. And it's the least, what am I trying to say? It's, the least amount of work to get back to where you started. And, doesn't have to be bondoed, painted, primed. This has to be welded in place and a little bit of rust preventative on it, rust encapsulator. So I'm really worried about these screws. Once I screw them up, I'm screwed. And these window frames, I don't know if you can get them or not, but it's not pretty. So we'll see what we got. I'm gonna really clean that out. I'll zoom you in a little bit there. Try to keep you in the mix. Come on, no. Oh, no, I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I don't think it's gonna happen, which sucks. Rust never sleeps. Oh, fuck. I mean, darn. Sorry about the swearing. Shit. That ain't happening. So I think what I'm going to do is cut the mechanism because I can easily weld that back together. I don't want to, I think I'm going to keep on soaking these screws and pray for the best down the road. Worst case scenario, I can grind the heads off and then see if I can grab these with vice grips and get them out, or last but not least, cut them flat, re-drill, and thread them. Making decisions on the fly. Maybe what I'll do is grind these heads off and then get the window out from there. Maybe not cut the mechanism, because I think either way I'm probably going to have to cut those out or re-drill them and thread them. So that's the deal with your making these videos. You're thinking on your feet, and here's the decision. So the new problem is that screw is tapered, of course, so I can't get it out no matter what. So I think I will just grind the other head off and drill them out, and that'll be that. Deal with it all after. This is what it is when you're building something from scratch, you know? Fun, fun, fun till your daddy takes the T-bird away. All right, there's no crying about it or thinking about it. You just got to do it. Bottom line, done. So let's get a drill going. Now the good news is I don't have to worry about the glass. It's already broken. We're putting new glass in there. Bad news is I'm not drilled through far enough. Bingo! So I cheated and I drilled one side out while we were on pause. If you don't know, the guys making these videos, we all pause because we can find, I had to find drill bits and all that. And I'm not going to burn 5 minutes of setting up. So we pause it, come back. I drilled one side and then drilled the other while you watched. so we don't burn up a lot of time doing mundane stuff. So there's the windshield out. Put aside. All right, now we can, and by the way, earlier I tried to take the bolts out that were in here and get this thing out, but you can't get it out the way it's set up. You have to take the dash off, and I told you that's all rusted in, so I can get more liquid W down there. You know, this car's, whatever it is, 80 something, old. So everything needs to be woken up slowly. Look at that little lube. Nice. So we'll put that back in there just to protect it. That'll be that. All right. All right now. So we're going to shut the doors. I showed you where I ratchet strapped in there. So yeah. So now we got good lines on the bottom that we were looking for. And I'll have to deal with the doors afterwards, but for now, is what it is. All right. So we'll get some tape going. And like I said before, I have to be in a flat area where we don't have, if the top isn't wider than the bottom, we come back down, we're matched up, and try to keep as few issues as we can. Window parts. As few issues as we can for putting it back together. More window parts. So I'm using 1-inch tape, and just very simply going on there. Just thinking to myself, do I have to cut this door? And I do have to cut. This 1-inch has to come out of here to get me down where I've got to go also. Yeah, and then this is going to have to be opened up, whatever this comes forward. So yeah, there's no way around it. This has to come out. Have this. But what? Thinking about the door. If that comes down forward, that will meet with that. This line will stay the same. I'm hoping so. Again, first time, guys. Thinking on the fly. Bear with me. This is the hardest part of the trip. Both 1 7/8. So from the hinge to the bottom of that tape is 8 15/16. On your way, sorry about that. 8 15/16. Take a marker. I'm going to measure 8 15/16. It's all over but the crying. You know that song? Now, I'm having some thoughts about this right here. I gotta go to the other side. The sunlight's right on that cut. Pain in the ass. So what I'm thinking is, what am I thinking? I'm thinking is if I cut this pretty much the same width, I'm thinking maybe I'm going to cut one side maybe I'll cut the bottom first, take this door trim out, and not cut the inch off of the door trim. I can cut it after. I just don't want to, I just don't know if that's the right spot to cut it. But the width of the trim here is pretty much the same. 2, 2. All right, we're going for it. So I'm going to make a little notch with my grinding wheel, and now I'm looking for my freaking gloves. Holy shit! Here we go. Sucks to get old, guys. Got a bad case of CRS. Can't remember squat. Found it. Another piece of door channel. Guess we'll try to pull the other side out first. Tough stuff. All right. This wants to fall. I think I'm going to let it. So I'm going to do the other B pillar first, and then we will do the front A pillars. Yep, we're making some noise. We're hoping for the best. Stay tuned for disaster. I think it'll be fine. Hold on now. Get some tool of destruction. That thing does not want to. Well, that ain't working. Got it. That's what's holding on right there. Deal with that at a later date. Was that as painful for you as it was for me? Another blade. Blade time. Pause. Pause for the cause. I'm not pausing. Don't try this at home, kids. Well, like I said, first time, so you're doing it with me. We're not backing down from it. Bitch. Thank you. On a switch inside for the, see the lights, the old light switch for prom night for the back seat. All right. Now, I'm going to cut the front end off, but I got no one here, so we'll see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Window channel. Oh, that's going to have to be replaced no matter what. So there's the door. Put it in here for safe storage. Yeah. Fuck it. Let's cut it. Pretty wild, huh? All bent. Bend, 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 bend. I don't know how the hell they did that in one shot. Pretty cool, man. Old Henry. So, let's do the other side, see what happens. Like I said, what's the worst that can happen? Throw another new blade on. Just cause. Keep new blades going. Whoa. Going down. That in there. I have a bad feeling. I don't want this to fall in. This is going to suck. I wish I had. I wish. Um, I'm going to put a clamp of some sort on there. Live action. We got live action here, folks. Hoping that's going to hold together. Looking for another good clamp. Hang in there. We're almost there. We're almost there. All right. Don't know if it'll hold, but what the hell? Give it a shot. That's all we can do. All right. Nothing fell down. Oh, come on. Come on now. Don't move. Nobody move. Get a screwdriver. I got a screwdriver to hold it in place. All right. All right. So, trying to get things jockeyed around best I can without anybody else here, but I need another block in here. See what I'm doing. Gotta jet this up a little higher. So I'm looking for a block of wood. Wood we got. I'm going to put this down a little. We're about 3 seconds before 15 F-bombs come out, so bear with me. Okay, we're getting closer. A little higher. Getting there, guys. Thanks for hanging in. All right, so for now, we're at least propped into position. So we've cut that front down. See the way that's going to line up? That's not even, I can pull that, even make it better, but that's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Got my fancy screwdriver holding that together. Now here, we've brought the roof forward, right? We knew we were doing that. When we cut that front, it brought the roof forward to line up back down here because it's at an angle, so it'll get it lined up again. We brought it forward, and now what we're going to have to do is get this back kind of, cut in, situated. And lastly, I'm going to have to take and cut over here, cut over the roof, and bring this back a half an inch and then fill in a half an inch or an inch, whatever that line is there. So yeah, it has to be quartered here again. I got this to deal with. And those are new watching this, you're wondering, well, why did I cut it here? Then have to cut it here again. Well, because this was a deluxe, and we moved this roof line from here 20 inches forward. So you have to go back to the videos before, video 2 and 1. This is number 3. And so for today, I think we've come a long way, baby. And now our roof is, half-ass lined up. Like I said, I'm going to have to work with this transition here a little bit. And I'll have to probably, cut and drag this a little bit to line that up. And easy, that's an easy repair compared to what it could have been. And you got to remember, we're taking something that was a whole different animal. And, we got this side. We've cured our door issues. We've done a lot of curing. And this side worked out exactly the same way. I'm afraid to pop this clamp. I'm not going to pop that clamp because I just don't want it to fall apart while I get my camera in my hand. And we know it's lined up because this side's lined up. And you see the window how it's lined up right there. So we're going to be fine. Absolutely fine. And I couldn't be happier. Oh my God. What a, if you don't think that was a nail biter, that was hoping for bases loaded and you're hoping for a home run. And I think we did good. Now, just taking that inch out of it, I think gave it a kind of a little cool stance there, right? An inch is an inch, but kind of lean that roof downhill a little bit. So picture time. Let's look at what we started with. So that's what we started with, right? That's the picture of the car when it was in Texas. That's what we've turned it to. This was my original idea when I cut up the photos. I made a couple copies, cut it up, and just kind of slid this in here. And that's just cutting the same exact photo apart, so nothing distorted, you know, size-wise. And then this is off the web, and this is kind of what we're going for. Original coupe style, and that's where we're at. I couldn't be more stoked. You know, when you come out here and you look at this car as a deluxe, you know, 1935 Ford Model 48 Deluxe. It's a four-seater, so it has the wider door here. If this was a coupe, the door would be probably 4 or 6 inches shorter because you only have one bench seat or 2 bucket seats you're getting in. I think there were bench seats back then, right? This had bucket seats, right? A rear seat. So now we got plenty of room to put whatever seat we want in here. I can have some storage in the back to bring, when I go to a show, I have my chair and a cooler and my bunch of crap, you know. And then in the back, when I do the back here, we'll have a trunk. I'm probably going to move my battery back here because I'm going to turn it to 12 volt. And so for now, this is video number 3. I can't thank everybody enough again at the end of this video that I got like 250 new subscribers off this video, video number 2. So it means guys, you know, guys and gals and whoever want to watch this little project getting done. And I'm nervous as hell doing it because it's my number 1 for me, and I've only watched videos. But I have 283 videos with this one. So go back on my channel and look at my other stuff. I've built a 52 Ford F3. I've got my 29 hot rod in there, and I've got my 28 hot rod, and I've got my 29 bolt tail Roadster in there, parts of that project. I didn't start this channel till like 2 years ago now, maybe. And so I had a couple of great builds that I wish I could have done 100% for you. But this is a hobby. I was a carpenter my whole life, and this is new to me. I started after retiring 3.5 years ago, and it's a thrill ride for me because I've never done it before, so I'm really excited. Very happy. As you can see, I'm stoked. I mean, I couldn't be happier the way this is turning out. I was very nervous. I thought I could turn this into a junk pile, and it was going to wind up a freaking convertible or something. Who the hell knew what it was going to be? But I really got through the worst of it, I think, today. And the next video will be putting this thing back together and trying to get this roof line tacked into place and in good shape. So thank you very much for coming back, guys. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next one.